The true history behind Season 3's most brutal storylines in House of the Dragon. Welcome back, everyone, to the channel where fantasy meets strategy and nostalgia fuels our digital adventures. The Dance of the Dragons is reaching its boiling point, and as House of the Dragon marches toward its third season, the bloodshed only deepens. But while fans might be shocked by the brutality of what's to come, here's what you need to know. These horrifying, emotional, and unforgettable moments aren't just TV drama. They're rooted in actual Westerosi history from George R.R. Martin's brutal tome, Fire and Blood. This is the true story behind Season 3's most brutal plotlines, what really happened in the books, and how HBO might bring those horrors to life on screen. Strap in, the dragons may be mythical, but the pain they bring is very real. The bloodbath at Rook's Rest. Fire, steel, and a queen's fury. One of the most anticipated, and savage, storylines in House of the Dragon Season 3 is the battle at Rook's Rest. And make no mistake, this is more than just another dragon fight. It is a massacre, and it marks a turning point in the war. Let's break down what really happened. In George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, Queen Rhaenyra's faction, the Blacks, try to press their advantage after Lucerys Velaryon's tragic death. They send Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen who never was, on her dragon Meleys, to strike at the strategically vital castle of Rook's Rest, which is loyal to King Aegon II. But what she doesn't know, is that she's flying straight into a trap. Aegon and Aemond are waiting. Two dragons, Sunfire and Vhagar. Together, they ambush her midair in one of the most harrowing aerial duels in the dance. The result, catastrophic. Rhaenys and Meleys fight valiantly but are overwhelmed. Both are burned alive and crash to their deaths. But not without cost. Aegon is gravely wounded. Sunfire is mangled beyond recognition. For a moment, it looks like even victory will cost the Greens dearly. This is war in Westeros. No honor, no rules, only blood. The Butcher's Ball. The fall of the Riverlords. Next up, perhaps the darkest chapter in the Riverlands during the Dance of the Dragons, the Butcher's Ball. What sounds like a tournament is anything but. This is the tale of Sir Criston Cole, Lord Commander of the Kingsguard and one of the most polarizing figures in the dance. After Aegon is wounded, Criston takes charge of the Greens' forces. But his leadership proves disastrous. In Fire and Blood, Cole leads his troops into the Riverlands to suppress Black loyalists. But he underestimates both terrain and resistance. As his exhausted army marches, they're surrounded, ambushed by Riverlords who use guerrilla tactics, cutting off supplies and driving the men mad with fear. What follows is a bloodbath. Cole's army breaks. Men turn on each other. Many drown in rivers trying to flee. It's said that the fish in the Trident fed well that day. Hence the name, the Butcher's Ball. Criston Cole, once called the Kingmaker, is captured. And in the cruelest twist of irony, he dies not in battle, but humiliated, executed by common men. Season 3 is almost certain to feature this gruesome spiral, a brutal collapse that shows even knights can fall like peasants. The death of a dragon dreamer, Helaena's fate. Of all the fates awaiting characters in Season 3, none may be more tragic than that of Helaena Targaryen. In House of the Dragon, she's portrayed as sweet, soft-spoken, and haunted by visions. Fans know her as a dreamer, possibly a prophetic figure. But in the books, her fate is one of sorrow and madness. After the murder of her son Maelor during the riots in King's Landing, Helaena breaks. According to one version of the tale, she leaps from Maegor's holdfast to her death. Another version claims she is pushed. Some suspect Larys Strong, others even suggest Aegon himself, desperate to hide her instability. Her death triggers what's known in Westerosi lore as the Moon of Madness, a time when the people of the capital, already starving and grieving, erupt in fury. The show has already hinted at Helaena's fragile state. If Season 3 adapts her death, it will be a truly devastating moment, and a powerful turning point. In the Dance of the Dragons, even royalty is not spared from despair. Daemon vs. Aemond. The battle above the God's Eye. Here it is, the big one, the most famous duel in the Dance of the Dragons, perhaps in all of Targaryen history. Daemon Targaryen vs. Aemond One Eye. After years of skirmishes, betrayals, and bloodshed, it all comes down to this confrontation over the God's Eye, a massive lake in the Riverlands. Daemon rides Caraxes, the blood worm. Aemond rides Vhagar, the ancient beast who's seen more war than any living dragon. In Fire and Blood, Daemon lures Aemond into battle. Some say he leaves a trail of dead to bait him. Others claim Daemon wanted revenge for Lucerys. Either way, the duel is vicious, explosive, apocalyptic. The dragons tear into each other in the skies over the lake, the sky itself filled with fire and blood. Daemon, so the legend goes, leaps from Caraxes midair, plunges his Valyrian steel blade into Aemond's eye, and both riders fall into the water below. Neither body is recovered for years. The scene is poetic, terrifying, legendary. Season 3 could make this the Red Wedding moment of the show. If they stay faithful to the book, it may be one of the greatest battles in television history. The death of Rhaenyra Targaryen, betrayal, cannibalism, and fire. Though it may not happen until late in Season 3, or early Season 4, the eventual fate of Rhaenyra Targaryen is one of the most horrifying in Fire and Blood. After losing nearly everything, her sons, her allies, her throne, Rhaenyra is forced to flee King's Landing as chaos erupts. Eventually, she is betrayed by those she trusted most. In the book, she's sold out by her men and handed over to King Aegon II. And what does Aegon do? He feeds her to Sunfire, his dragon. Alive. The scene is beyond brutal. Rhaenyra, once the realm's delight, screaming as the dragon devours her in front of her last living son. This act solidifies Aegon's descent into cruelty. The realm watches in horror. And the war, it doesn't end there. It only gets worse. This moment, if adapted as written, would go down in history as one of the most brutal executions in all of Westeros storytelling. The children suffer too. Joffrey, Maelor, and tragedy. The Dance of the Dragons is not a war of soldiers alone. The most gut-wrenching moments are what happened to the children. Let's talk Joffrey Velaryon, Rhaenyra's son. In the books, he is desperate to avenge Lucerys and prove himself. Against orders, he mounts a dragon, Syrax, but lacks the bond and training. Syrax throws him off midair. He falls to his death. Then there's Prince Maelor Targaryen, a mere boy, traveling with his septa and protectors when the mob turns on him. He is torn from limb to limb by a riotous crowd who think him a symbol of tyranny. George R.R. Martin doesn't flinch when it comes to depicting the horrors of war, even for the young and innocent. HBO has already shown a willingness to explore this darkness. Season 3 may drive that dagger even deeper. In the dance, no age, no innocence, and no name can save you from death. The burning of Harrenhal, haunted castles and vengeful fire. Harrenhal is cursed, everyone knows it. Built by Harren the Black, destroyed by Balerion the Black Dread, and passed from one doomed lord to another. In Season 3, we may return to Harrenhal with Daemon Targaryen, who takes it as his stronghold during the war. But this castle's legacy continues. In Fire and Blood, strange events occur during Daemon's time there. Fires that burn for no reason, shadows in the halls, and betrayals from